On my 70th birthday, my son texted, "We need space from you. Please don't reach out anymore at all," so I just blocked him. My name is Frank Bennett, and I turned 70 on a Tuesday that smelled like cut grass and lemon peel. I live in the same square little house where my wife and I raised our boy, the same porch where neighborhood kids used to park their bikes and ask if I had any spare popsicles. I worked 38 years as an electrician, then a few more as the kind of landlord who knows the names of tenants' dogs. I am the sort of man who keeps spare fuses in a coffee tin and cleans his tools before supper. People call me old-fashioned. I call it finishing what you start. Before the world taught my son to perform for strangers, he performed for me. Jake was the kid who woke me at 5 on Saturdays to go check job sites, who could strip a wire clean by the time he was 10, and whooped like he had invented electricity. We built a treehouse together out back with a trapdoor he insisted was for security, and a pulley he used to lift peanut butter sandwiches up to his fort. He read magazines about sneakers and asked me why men paid so much for leather and laces when a good boot could last a decade. At night he fell asleep on the couch with my elbow for a pillow while the ball game murmured. If you had asked me then what kind of man he would be, I would have said steady. Money was not our enemy. It was a river I learned to cross with care. I came from a family that thought a loan was a shame and a second shift was a blessing, so I saved until my pockets bent with coins, and then I bought one shabby duplex. I fixed it myself, burned my hands, made mistakes, learned to read every line of a lease, and then I bought another. By the time Jake was in high school, I owned 9 doors and a reputation for doing right by people. I did not flash cash in this house. I taught Jake that money is a tool you store clean and put back where you found it. He was not a bad student, but he was a better talker. He could sell a rake to a man with a broom. He told me he wanted to be in marketing, and I said, "Fine, show me the plan." I paid for the books at community college when he tried it for 2 semesters and nodded when he said classrooms made him itch. When he took a job at a shoe store, he brought home stories about customers and campaigns he would run if anyone gave him a chance. I told him that chances are not given. They are built, like decks and reputations. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what time it is where you are now. Then he met Lila. She was quick as a match strike and walked into rooms like she owned the lighting. The first dinner she had here, she complimented my wife's stew and then corrected the way I said bruschetta, all in the same breath. She talked about branding like it was a faith and about legacy as if it were a business plan. Jake lit up around her. He started using words like scale and optics and said independence like it was a slogan instead of a practice. I watched my son, who once saved his allowance for a fishing rod, fall in love with a life that looked expensive in photographs. I was slicing lemons for the iced tea my granddaughter loves when the message lit my phone. No call, no visit, just that little gray bubble on a day I had expected to be crowded and loud. "We need space from you. Please don't reach out any more at all." I read it once and kept my hand on the counter because the board was wet and the knife was sharp. I read it again. Same words. Same period at the end. The timestamp said 10 a.m. My birthday. No happy birthday, Dad. No name signed. No emoji. Nothing soft. "We need space from you. Please don't reach out any more at all." I checked the thread. The last thing from me was a photo of the porch lights I had rewired, with a cookout at 6 from last night. No answer. The last thing from him was a thumbs up to a transfer I sent on Friday. Before that, "Got you, Dad," attached to a longer request about a client dinner he needed to float. His requests always came with "got you." The deposits show up as consulting because that was cleaner for him. I scrolled past them, back through soccer photos I paid fees for, gas money for the trip to the lake. The mortgage difference he promised was temporary. I stopped on the message again. "We need space from you. Please don't reach out any more at all." I stood there and thought about the word "we." I knew it meant Jake and Lila. I thought about space and how it translates to block numbers, no drop-offs, no pickups, no Saturdays with Sarah without checking with someone who already decided for me. I thought about please don't reach out anymore at all, and how a sentence can close a door without saying it is a door. It did not read like anger. It read like a plan they had rehearsed. I set the knife down and wiped my hands on a dish towel so I would not smear lemon across the screen. I opened our thread and scrolled to the top, to the first time he asked me to help him with launch money when I wrote, "Tell me what you need and what the plan is." I scrolled back down. Transfers. Promises. I swear I'll make you proud. Just until we scale. 2 weeks, tops. All of it sitting there next to receipts, baby pictures, and birthday invites I created in my garage. Then I tapped the contact header, pressed block this caller, and read the warning. You will not receive phone calls, messages, or FaceTime from people on the block list. I pressed block contact. I looked at the blank line where new messages would appear and waited a full minute. Nothing changed. No new bubble. No follow-up. No correction. No, sorry, wrong tone. The phone stayed still on the counter. I rinsed the lemon seeds into the sink and finished slicing. I poured the tea into the pitcher and set it in the refrigerator. The kitchen was quiet. No phone, no footsteps, just me, a cutting board, and a message I would not answer. It was the easiest thing I did all day. You should know the kind of space we are talking about. 6 years ago, when Jake and his wife, Lila, had their first baby, I set up more than a few things. I co-signed their mortgage because they could not qualify a loan. Then the bank moved the loan to my profile when Jake's income dipped. Since then, the payment, $3,200 on the first of each month, has auto-drafted from my account. For the last 20 months, they have not put in $1. Not toward principal, not toward escrow, not toward taxes. I also set up a corporate lease for their SUV through my property company, $700 a month, insurance on me, and a quiet direct deposit labeled consulting every other Friday so Jake could claim income while he built the agency he swore would explode. Business? Most of it sat on my shoulders too. The Amex I pay covered their agency's client dinners, trade show travel, and ad buys that Jake promised to reimburse as soon as receivables hit. Software subscriptions for their work, project management, design tools, email marketing, ran $400 a month also on my cards. The office is my duplex storefront at a family rate that is half of market. When they fell behind even on that, I ate it. I paid the trademark filing fees when they rebranded twice. I paid a freelance bookkeeper for a quarter to clean up their invoices because accounting kills momentum. When a client threatened to sue over a missed deadline, I paid the attorney to write the letter that fixed it. At home, I picked up what they called temporary gaps. Daycare deposit when they switched centers. Pediatric dental bill. The phone plan with their 2 lines and the tablet Lila uses to film and edit Jake's posts. $400 a month, mine. Groceries, when they visited, quietly loaded into the trunk. Gas cards, just for this month. I kept receipts because that is how I live, and I kept my mouth shut because I thought that is what fathers do when their kids are starting out. Meanwhile, Jake went online and talked about bootstrapping and grind culture. Every Thanksgiving, he carved a turkey I bought and thanked the community for supporting young entrepreneurs. I did not correct him. Lila has a way of making gratitude sound like a correction anyway. "We appreciate your help," she would say, pausing like the word might stain her blouse. She talked about generational shifts and parents who cannot adapt. She filmed Jake's speeches about resilience on the phone line I paid for and tagged brands that send them free samples as if that were revenue. So when I read, "We need space from you. Please don't reach out anymore at all," I was not just hurt. I was confused by the logistics. What did he expect to happen on the first of the month? Did space mean my money kept coming through a wall? Did don't reach out mean I should keep paying the mortgage I alone fund and the bills I alone see? Did he think I would keep being the quiet line item in his life while he shut the door on the person attached to it? In their photos, they look like a success story sponsored by my retirement. Seeing that sentence on my birthday, clean, practiced, final, made one thing plain. They wanted control without cost. Independence, with me footing the bills. I stood there and realized I did not know what my son hoped for after all of this, except that I would keep acting like a ghost who pays. I turned off the kettle, sat at my desk, and pulled a paper file I never wanted to need. Behind the electric bill and the drawing my granddaughter made of us fishing, I kept a list of every quiet line I had running into their life. I told myself this was not punishment. This was me taking care of what I built and giving my son a chance to stand up straight. Mortgage autopay. Cancel. I logged in, turned off the auto transfer, and wrote the date in the margin. If he wants a house, he can pay for a house. I paid for mine. Consulting retainer. Terminate. I emailed the bank manager and said to stop the scheduled deposits. No more direct support disguised as work. If he wants income, he can earn income. Corporate SUV lease. Reclaim at end of month. I called the fleet office and set a pickup with a polite note. He can drive what he can afford. I drove used for years. Amex authorized user. Remove. 1 call, 2 security questions. Done. If he takes clients to dinner, he can put the card down himself. Family phone plan. Port my number. Close sublines. The carrier walked me through it. I kept my line. The rest ended. If he wants to make calls, he can pay the bill that makes them possible. Rent discount on my duplex where their office incubates. Full market rate, 30 days notice. I typed a short letter and printed it. No legal talk. Just the new amount and the date. If they want an office, they can cover the rent like every other tenant. I did not do it angry. I did it like tightening bolts I had left too loose for too long. I thought about my wife, the years we clipped coupons, the first down payment we scraped together. I thought about Sarah and what story she should hear about her family, that we help and we do not get used. My name is on the deeds because I showed up. Keeping that straight is not being cold. It is being responsible. By lunch, my banker had confirmed the changes. She said, "All set, Mr. Bennett," and I thanked her. I wrote a note to myself. Boundaries keep a legacy intact. By afternoon, the phone carrier emailed the final receipt. I put it in the file. By evening, the company card I had let Jake use for client dinners was declined at a steakhouse. He learned what space feels like when the bill comes and the waiter is waiting. I did not smile. I just breathed steady and told myself this is how a lesson starts. I was determined in that moment. Block was step 1. You will not believe how much farther I'm ready to go. Reclaim the car, stop every payment, rewrite the will, and lock the money to my granddaughter alone. No way back. 2 days after, the messages changed from partially polite to pointed. A new number texted, "We expect the mortgage auto draft to resume by Friday. Please also reimburse the overdraft fees caused by your sudden changes." Lila followed with a file titled Household Cash Flow that listed my name next to half their bills. At the bottom she wrote, "Non-negotiable, housing, insurance, phone. Please confirm today." I did not confirm anything. I added that number to the block list and wrote myself another line on the card in my desk. No explanations. Hold the line. That evening, an email arrived from Jake with a subject line, Bridge. He wanted $5,000 to stabilize payroll while new retainers activate. And he included a sentence I have heard since he was 20. I'll make it right next month. He also asked me to co-sign a new business credit line, just in case. He closed with, "As my father, you owe me basic support while I build." There was no mention of my birthday. No mention of the year I spent paying temporary gaps. I moved the email to the same folder as the others. On day 3, they tried shame. Lila posted a public note about certain elders who refused to show up for family, with a photo of Sarah in a jacket I bought. A cousin called to ask what was going on. I told him the same thing. I am fine. I am not taking messages. And I am not debating family business on the internet. The next morning there was a letter in my mailbox, hand-delivered and typed like a contract. It requested that I transfer title of one duplex to their LLC for legacy purposes, restore the phone plan to maintain safety for the child, and provide a monthly family stipend until their firm reaches scale. It gave me 48 hours. It ended with, "Failure to cooperate will force us to reconsider access." I read it twice. It was not about legacy. It was about keeping the machine fed. I put the letter in the file and wrote another note to myself. Legacy is what you build, not what someone demands. By evening, they were at the door again. Lila rang the bell and spoke loudly through the screen. "Frank, this is ridiculous. You're our safety net. You don't get to quit. We need you to come with us to the bank tomorrow and remove the freezes. We need you to call the landlord and tell him you'll keep the old rate. We need the car for drop-offs. This is your family." Jake stood on the sidewalk, nodding, arms folded like a foreman. He added, "If you don't handle this, we'll have to tell Sarah you chose money over her." I kept the door locked. "I am not coming to the bank," I said. "I am not calling anyone." "You told me not to reach out." "I heard you." Lila tried to step closer. I ended it. "Please leave my porch." They left, but not before sliding another note under the mat. "Last chance before we escalate." On day 5, a stranger called to say he was a friend of the family and could mediate. I told him there was nothing to mediate. He pressed. I hung up. A minute later, a text from Jake. "You're pushing this too far. If you force us to pursue remedies, it will get ugly." Then, as if switching masks, another text. "We can forget this if you just restart the mortgage and phone today." He was bargaining with money that is not his. Their messages made one thing clear. This was not about hurt feelings. This was about access. They wanted the switch back on without the relationship that justified it. That is not family. That is extraction. My willpower did not crack. It hardened. I thought about the work that put my name on my deeds. I thought about my wife and the years we waited for anything before we could afford it. I thought about Sarah and what she will learn from watching adults handle pressure. She does not need to see me cave because someone is loud. She needs to see me protect what is mine and keep promises to myself. That night, I pulled my file again and added a page. Next steps. Keep the SUV pickup date. Confirm market rent notice. Remove them from any account I missed. Book the appointment to update my will. Set the trust so Sarah is cared for without her parents touching a cent. Simple steps. Clean steps. If Jake and Lila were going to demand, I was going to decide. The plan was not about punishing them. It was about making sure the years I have left mean something more than fueling a life they cannot afford. The next morning I made the calls. That afternoon an unknown number lit the screen. I answered. "Dad?" "It's me." Jake's voice was tight. "Okay, listen, we need to talk. The mortgage didn't clear because of some glitch, right? Just call the bank and—" "No glitch," I said. "I stopped paying it." There was a rustle. Lila's voice came from the background, sharp and close. "Put it on speaker," then louder. "Frank, this is getting dangerous. We have a child. You can't just yank support without notice." "I gave notice," I said. "You texted me to stop reaching out." "I heard you." Jake tried another angle. "We're under pressure. Clients are slow to pay. If you could just bridge us, like $5,000 to cover Friday, we'll reset. Then we can meet like adults and set terms." "No." Silence. Then the shuffle of a phone switching hands. "Frank," Lila said, measured but shaking under it, "you are sabotaging your own family. Housing, phone, insurance, these are baseline. You've always covered them. You cannot just quit. We expect you at the bank tomorrow to remove whatever freezes you put on." "I am not going to the bank," I said. There are no freezes to remove. I turned off the lines I opened. That's all. Jake jumped back in, rapid fire, like he could out-talk the facts. You said you'd help until we scaled. You promised. Was that a loan or a gift? Because if it was a gift, then why are you punishing us? If it was a loan, we can work out a schedule. Just restart the mortgage and the phone today and we'll... I almost laughed. Not out loud, inside. They were throwing every line they had, guilt, threat, reason, without believing any of it themselves. The fear in their voices was not about losing me. It was about bills that need money. I'm not restarting anything, I said. You're adults. Handle your bills? Lila snapped. If you don't cooperate, we'll have to escalate. We'll move in. We'll bring Sarah. You won't turn your back on your granddaughter. You are not moving in, I said. Do not come to my house again without being invited. I won't open the door. Jake softened fast, then hardened again, like he could find the right key if he kept trying locks. Dad, please. Just until Friday. We've got a retainer about to hit. I swear I'll make it right next month. You've been saying next month for years, I said. My decision stands. There was a beat where I could hear both of them breathing. Lila whispered, Tell him we'll go public. Jake half repeated it, then swallowed it. If you hang up, this gets ugly, he said instead, but his voice wobbled. I'm hanging up, I said. Take care of your family. That's your job, not mine. I ended the call and blocked the number. My hand was steady. I wrote one more line on the card in my desk. No calls, no cash. Stay the course. Then I put the phone face down and got back to my list. First, the car. I called the fleet office and moved the pickup forward. No end-of-month grace. They booked a truck for Wednesday morning. I sent a short email to Jake. The lease is in my company name. The vehicle will be collected Wednesday at 9 a.m. No threats, no debate, just the fact. Second, the money I could control long-term. I met my lawyer after lunch and updated everything. Will, beneficiaries, payable on death forms. Jake and Lila came off every line. Sarah's trust went in, simple and tight. School and medical only until she is grown. After that, controlled disbursements. None of it passes through her parents. I signed, paid the fee, and told my lawyer, this is about legacy and teaching a lesson I should have taught earlier. Third, contact. I typed a one-page note and mailed it to their house in the office. Do not come to my home. Do not call me. Do not send people on your behalf. If there is a true emergency with Sarah, mail a letter to my P.O. box. Do not use her as leverage. I kept a copy in my file. Plain words. No legal jargon. They know what it means. Fourth, the storefront. I told my property manager to switch their office to a standard month-to-month with market rate and zero family discount, already noticed. If they pay, they stay. If they do not, she follows the same process she follows with any other tenant. I also asked her to collect spare keys and change the back door code. Done by 5 p.m. By evening, the fallout started. Lila called from a neighbor's phone while the tow truck backed up to the SUV. Frank, are you serious? We have daycare pickup. I did not answer. The fleet contractor did his job. Jake texted at the same time. You're humiliating us. He attached a photo of the hook under the frame. I did not respond. I did not feel proud. I felt clear. They swung between threats and pleading all night. You cannot cut us off from transportation. You will be responsible if anything happens. We need you at the bank tomorrow at 9. Then, 10 minutes later, please, Dad. One last month. We will sell the extra equipment and make rent. Every message proved the same point. This was not about love, respect, or even anger. It was about access to my accounts. Seeing that sharpened my resolve. I wrote it down so I would not forget in a soft moment. They are desperate for cash, not connection. In the morning, Jake tried one more angle. If you're changing paperwork, you need to discuss it with us. It affects our future. He means the will. I am allowed to do with my estate what I want. I told him nothing. Silence is my answer now. My future belongs to the people who did not use me as an ATM with my name scratched off. At noon, I drove to the bank and closed the joint safety deposit box we opened years ago when he said we would build together. I moved my documents to a new box in my name only. I changed the PIN on the company cards and checked every recurring charge. I found 2 services I did not recognize and canceled them. Clean table. That afternoon, my church secretary called. She said Jake had left a message asking whether I had redirected family support to the roof fund. I told her not to answer him. Later that day, I wrote a check to the scholarship in my wife's name at the community college. Starting it now was part of the point. The money I saved serves purposes I choose. No more quiet funding for a lifestyle that cannot pay itself. They showed up again that night. No knocking. They just stood on the sidewalk and called out. Lila was loud. "Frank, you cannot do this. You are putting us in danger. You're endangering your granddaughter," Jake added. "We will move in if we have to." I stepped onto the porch and kept the door behind me locked. "You will not move in," I said. "You are not welcome here. Do not come back uninvited." Lila started to argue. I raised my hand. "No more talk. Handle your own life." Jake tried to soften. "What do you want from me?" he asked. "Tell me, and I'll do it." "I want you to pay your own bills," I said. "I want you to stop posting speeches about independence while living on my money. I want you to be the father your daughter needs. None of that requires a cent from me." They did not like that answer. Lila said, "We will escalate." I said, "Do what you think you need to do," and went inside. I did not watch them leave. Before bed, I went through my file one more time. The car, reclaimed. The mortgage, off my back. The phone plan, closed. The office, market rate. The will and trust, updated. The boundaries, written and sent. I added one last line to my card. Stay the course. This is not revenge. This is correction. This is how my name, my work, and my story stay mine. They came back on a Sunday, late afternoon, when the street is usually quiet. I heard the car door slam and then Jake's voice, louder than it needed to be. Lila followed a few steps behind, holding Sarah's hand like a prop. I opened the screen and stepped onto the porch, keeping the main door shut behind me. "We're done playing," Lila said, chin high. "You will restart the mortgage and the phone, and you will apologize for humiliating us." Today Jake's eyes wouldn't settle. He looked at me, then at the window, then at Sarah. "Dad, just say you overreacted and we move on. We can fix this." I looked down at Sarah. Her hair was in a crooked ponytail. She had my late wife's eyes. She was rubbing the hem of her sweater with her thumb, watching all of us like she knew the room was wrong but not why. That was the moment I understood what this had to be about. Not punishment, not pride. Her. "Sarah," I said, keeping my voice calm. "You okay, kiddo?" She nodded, unsure. "Let's go inside and talk like adults," Lila said, stepping onto the first stair. "You're not coming in," I said. "You told me not to reach out." I'm respecting that Jake laughed without humor. "That's not what we meant, and you know it. You don't get to twist things. You're our father. You're supposed to be there." "I am," I said. "I'm here." "I'm not your wallet." Lila's face tightened. "We have a child. You are putting her at risk. Do you really want that on you?" "I won't let you hang this on her," I said. "She is not a bargaining chip. If you need help, you get jobs, you cut costs, you sell what you can. You don't bring a 6-year-old to demand meetings." Silence stretched. Jake's mask slipped first. "We can't make rent," he blurted. "There. You happy? We can't make it. The car's gone. The phone's off. Are you?" He stopped himself, swallowed. "Please. Just until Friday, 1 month. You know You won't, I said, and heard how flat it came out. You've said next month for years. I made this hard because the easy way almost ruined you. I should have stopped sooner. That part is on me. Lila tugged Sarah forward. Tell your grandpa you miss him, she said. Sarah looked at the ground. My chest hurt. I bent a little, careful not to make it a secret from the adults, just to put my eyes level with hers. I love you, I told her. Always. That never changes. When you're older, you'll understand why adults sometimes say no. No is how we keep our lives steady. Come on, Sarah, Lila said sharply. We don't have time for this. Jake stepped closer. Dad, if you love her like you say, prove it. Keep us stable. That's what family does. I am proving it, I said, by stopping a pattern that teaches her the wrong lesson. She needs to see a father who pays his own bills. She needs to see a man keep his word and live within his means. She needs to see that love isn't measured in transfers. Lila scoffed. Spare us the lecture. It's not for you, I said, eyes still on my son. It's for him. And for her. He shifted, trying to find an angle that used to work. The smooth tone, the old apology, the promise. They were all there, stacked behind his teeth. He picked anger instead. You're choosing money over blood. I'm choosing example over comfort, I said. I'm choosing to be a grandfather she can be proud of later, not one who funded a lie now. Sarah's eyes were wet. She did not cry. She just watched me. I kept my voice steady for her. Here's what I can do today, I said, standing up again. I can give you a list of places that help with bills. I can drive Sarah to your sister's for dinner, so she's not here for this. I can talk to you when you're ready to make a plan that doesn't include my accounts. Lila's mouth flattened. We don't want charity. What you want is control, I said. You don't get it here. Jake's shoulders sagged for the first time in months. He looked tired, not performative, not strategic, just tired. I don't know how to do this, he said. It was almost a whisper. You learn, I said. The way I did. The way your mother did. The way most people do. He nodded like he might try. Lila yanked his sleeve. We're leaving, she said, loud enough for the neighbors. She turned to me and tried one last stab. You won't see her again if you keep this up. That's your choice to make, I said, and meant it. I won't be threatened with a child. They started down the steps. Sarah looked back. I gave her a small wave and a smile that felt like tearing something inside. She lifted her fingers and waved back without looking at her mother. When they reached the sidewalk, I called out once more. Jake? He stopped. I love you, I said, but I'm done funding the worst version of you. When you're ready to be the man you told me you'd be, knock. Until then, take care of your family. He swallowed, nodded, and walked away. I stood on the porch until their voices were gone. Inside, the house held the kind of quiet I used to be afraid of. Now it felt like air you can breathe. I sat at the kitchen table, took out the letter I'd started for Sarah, and finished it. I told her I was proud of her courage at the porch. I told her what I want for her. A life where no isn't a punishment. It's a boundary that keeps good things safe. I sealed the envelope and put it in the file with her name on it. Then I made a simple dinner, washed every dish, and put the kitchen back the way I found it. My phone lit up once with another unknown number. I let it go dark. This wasn't about winning. It was about ending a loss. It was about building something solid for the girl who will remember how her grandfather stood when standing mattered. I am responsible for the roof over my head, the name on my deeds, the stories my granddaughter will tell about what a man can be. That means I keep my word, I pay my own way, and I do not give people permission to spend me. I did not cut Sarah out with the others. I set a simple schedule with my sister. Every other Sunday, Sarah comes to my sister's house for dinner. I bring board games and a book. We do homework at the table, we bake a pan of brownies, and I walk her to the garden to check the tomato vines. I do not quiz her about her parents. I do not make promises I cannot keep. I keep it steady and kind. When I cannot see her, I mail her a postcard. One sentence about my day, one sentence about hers, and a joke she can show her teacher. They go in a shoebox with her name on it. I wrote her a letter for each birthday until she is 18. They sit in my desk, stamped and ready, in case anything happens to me. I told her what I believe, that love is work you can see, that no is a complete sentence, that money is a tool, not a leash. If there is a school play, and her aunt can put my name on the list, I sit in the back and clap when it is her turn. If I cannot be there, I do not sulk. I send a note saying I am proud of her. She will not doubt that I am here for her. As for Jake and Lila, I stopped arguing with people who are arguing with gravity. I kept every boundary I set. No cash, no meetings, no more speeches. My life got quiet and strong. I work my rental rounds, drink my coffee on the porch, and sleep at night. When I think of Jake, I pray he learns the same lessons I had to learn. If he does, the door is there. If he will not, the door stays shut. When the next unknown number buzzed, I did not pick it up. I let the phone fall quiet on the table and poured another glass of iced tea. The lemons were tart. The day was good. He wanted distance. I gave him all the space money can buy. And then I blocked him everywhere that mattered. Was I right to draw this line, cutting them off to protect my granddaughter's future? Or do you think I went too far? Please share your thoughts in the comments.
My grandpa's words really happened. I believe him. If you want more true tales stories like this, hit subscribe.